Ex-Tesla SpaceX entrepreneur Elon Musk just angered leftists even more by citing the terrible practical outcomes of government-run education systems. It's a very good addition to the battle, but let's not stop there. Let's use his wildly discussed observations as a springboard to get into the deeper, perennial, moral problems of collectivist schooling itself. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. And you know, despite the fact that Elon Musk backed down in his fight for free speech in Brazil, he's put money where his mouth is to promote a political agenda that many US-based conservatives appreciate. In buying Twitter and rebranding it X, he opened the platform to many previously ostracized and silenced people, and he's recently received opprobrium from leftists to such an extent that over the past week, the UK-based Centre for Countering Digital Hate, what a name, was discovered to hate X and Musk with internal documents that revealed their goal to, as they said, kill Twitter/X. He also has interviewed Donald Trump, appeared at rallies with Trump, and has openly posted strong opposition to the woke neo-Marxist policies of Joe Biden and Vice President Harris. But a recent call-in with Mr. Musk sheds light on the current limits of his political analysis, limits one hopes he will tear down in order to get to the roots of many U.S. governmental problems. The Vigilant Fox's October 25th post offers the audio and key summation of Musk's very appropriate, quite correct assessment of the poor outcomes of federally subsidized, politically steered education, from local K-12 to government loans given to colleges. And here are some of the key points.
The educational scores have gone downhill dramatically since the creation of the Department of Education, which doesn't make any sense. If you're going to create a department and spend a bunch of money, you should expect things to get better, not worse. Moreover, the Department of Education at federal level has pushed all sorts of propaganda on kids that has nothing to do with useful skills. Schools should be focused on teaching kids about the world and teaching them useful skills so that when they graduate, they can do something useful. That's the whole point. And a lot of times, you know, kids will spend 4 years in college not learn anything useful and be saddled with a ton of debt. And what's the point of that? It doesn't make any sense.
And Mr. Musk also pointed out that much of the taxpayer money spent on so-called education is actually spent on indoctrinating children in leftist ideology, regardless of whether their parents approve and regardless of whether it actually helps them become skilled workers or better citizens.
There's a lot of the money in education is actually for pushing propaganda, you know, instead of teaching kids the facts about the world, like, you know, things that are actually useful. So we definitely need to stop the propaganda, the pushing of the propaganda in schools. And teach kids skills that are actually useful.
All of which is very valid. It all makes sense, and it exposes the practical degeneration of U.S. education under the Department of Education, and also fed by unconstitutional college loans. But that last part, the unconstitutionality part, that is a key fulcrum point that Mr. Musk does not address. It's not sufficient to make valid points about the downward slide of educational quality, and it also contributes little to a deep roots discussion of the problem to offer one's personal observations that, as Mr. Musk says, schools should be focused on teaching kids about the world and teaching them useful skills so that when they graduate, they can do something useful. Unless one looks at the elephant in the room, that being the beast of government-run education, one can't even allow for an understanding of the moral and economic fact that what is seen as useful shouldn't and cannot be dictated by any political authority, regardless of whether it might be Elon Musk in a future position or anyone. That determination is subjective and must be left to parents and potential employers, not functionaries of the federal or state governments. And since Mr. Musk doesn't explicitly espouse the elimination of the Federal Department of Education, the unconstitutional roots of which go back to the Carter administration, well, Musk doesn't address the Constitution or the deeper core of pedagogical corruption. Donald Trump told Musk in August that he wanted to abolish the Department of Education and return the control of education policies to the states. So perhaps this also is something that Mr. Musk supports. But it is absolutely essential for Americans to understand that the reason to abolish the department is not based on its abysmal output. The U.S. Constitution has absolutely zero provision in it for a Department of Education. And even if the Constitution were amended to allow for federal funding of education and the mandates the feds push onto schools such as Title IX, no politician or bureaucrat has any fundamental right to tell anyone ever that they must cough up money to pay for any education system. I often have mentioned to students that there is no right, so-called, to a government-provided education, even on a state or local level. In shorthand, what that assumption means is that a child can't educate himself or herself. Therefore, supporters of the myth of government-run schooling claim that the government should tax people to pay for teachers to instruct the children. But if the government immorally claims the prerogative to tax person A, enslaving him or her for X number of hours a day to pay for this system, and then hand out that money to educate person B's child, i.e. pay for the teacher to teach, well then why not remove the middleman and force the teacher to toil for the state instead? Well, obviously, that strips the artifice off of everything. It exposes the enslavement of taxation. It also lets one see how such a system prevents parents from being able to decide what is appropriate for their child. By forcing everyone to pay for a government education system, the bureaucracy forces taxpayers into the tragedy of the commons, which pits payers with differing ideas and goals against each other for supremacy over how the system will be managed. So, hearing Mr. Musk discuss the practical outcomes might make one eager to hear a deeper measure of analysis, an analysis that looks at the reasons why those government systems never perform well. And those reasons are based on logic, economics, and morality. Musk has provided fertile ground for further discussion, and he does appear to be willing to explore virtually any topic and to do so with respect for those who hold differing opinions. As a result, one sees his recent very adroit and very correct observations as a good start, and one hopes he will continue the conversation, getting to the core of the problem: the immorality and unworkability of any government system telling people they must pay for it. At least more Americans might recognize the federalist system here and work to return education to the states. That itself would be a moral improvement over the illegitimate DC control grid under which we've been toiling for so long. And then from there, well, people in each state can start their own discussions, and perhaps more decentralization and greater recognition of the immorality of government systems will occur. It's a good start, good fuel for the mental fire. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe. Follow us on Rumble, where they don't censor us. And of course, you can find us on Twitter, where yes, they do censor us. Please share the videos far and wide. Meet us at MRCTV.org. That's MRCTV.org. See what the whole team is doing. Consider contributing to the Media Research Center. And of course, check out the MRC TV store. Find us on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, on X. And if you want to find me on Gab, I'm at Gardner Goldsmith. And on X, I am at Gard Goldsmith. Thanks for watching, everyone. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.